Welcome to the Sleepy Science Channel, where we explore the most fascinating wonders of our world at a pace gentle enough to fall asleep to. Tonight, we're inviting you to drift away into a realm of living light, a place where creatures throughout our oceans, forests, and even our own bodies create their own soft, glowing luminescence. As you settle into a comfortable position, let your shoulders relax and take a slow, deep breath. We're about to explore bioluminescence, the remarkable ability of living things to produce and emit light. This is not the harsh brightness of electric bulbs or the intense heat of the sun, but rather a quiet, peaceful glow that has evolved over millions of years in some of nature's most delicate and mysterious creatures. So close your eyes if you wish, and let us guide you through a world where darkness becomes beautiful, where light dances without heat, and where the smallest organisms shine with their own inner radiance. Welcome. Let's begin. Let us begin with a simple, beautiful fact. Bioluminescence is the production and emission of light by living organisms. It comes from a chemical reaction that occurs within the cells of these creatures. A reaction so elegant, so perfectly balanced, that it produces light with almost no wasted heat. Imagine that. Light without the burning, without the scorching warmth. This is fundamentally different from the light we know from fire or from the sun. It is a cool light, a gentle light, a light that whispers rather than shouts. The word itself comes from bio, meaning life, and luminescence, meaning to shine or glow. So bioluminescence, quite simply, means that life itself can glow. And as you breathe slowly and deeply, consider how remarkable this is. That somewhere in the darkness of the ocean, or in the depths of a cave, or even within your own cells, light is being created by nothing more than the elegant chemistry of living matter. The chemistry behind bioluminescence is surprisingly simple, yet infinitely beautiful. At its heart lies a molecule called luciferin. Yes, that's truly its name, which comes from the Latin word for light-bringing. When luciferin encounters an enzyme called luciferase in the presence of oxygen and energy, a chemical reaction occurs. This reaction releases energy in the form of light. Different organisms have different versions of luciferin and luciferase, each one finely tuned by millions of years of evolution to produce light of specific colors and intensities. Some glow blue-green, others red or yellow. Some pulse in rhythms, others glow steadily. As you lie here, breathing slowly, imagine the quiet precision of this reaction happening billions of times per second in creatures all around our world. Chemistry becoming light. Matter becoming radiance. It's a process so gentle, so perfect, that it seems almost like magic. Now, let's travel to a place most of us will never see. The deep ocean, where more than 90% of all marine life produces light. In the twilight zone of the sea, between 200 and 1,000 meters below the surface, bioluminescence is not rare or unusual. It is everywhere. It is the primary language of light in that realm. Fish with glowing lures dangle their bioluminescent bait before prey. Jellyfish pulse with ethereal blue light. Shrimp create clouds of glowing particles to confuse predators. And as you sink deeper into sleep, imagine yourself descending through those waters where darkness is so complete that the only light you would ever see is the light created by living things. In that place, bioluminescence isn't a curiosity. It's survival. It's communication. It's the very fabric of existence. The ocean depths hold more bioluminescent creatures than all the rest of Earth combined, quietly glowing in the darkness that has never known the sun. One of the most enchanting bioluminescent creatures is the firefly, or lightning bug, a small beetle that has captivated human imagination for thousands of years. Male fireflies produce flashes of light to attract females, and each species has its own unique pattern, its own rhythm, its own Morse code of love written in light. Some flash once per second. Others create elaborate sequences. Some fireflies glow continuously. And as you settle deeper into relaxation, consider the patience and precision of this dance. A male firefly will spend hours each evening, flashing his message into the darkness, hoping that somewhere a female will see his light and respond with her own. It is a conversation conducted entirely in bioluminescence. A courtship written in photons. On warm summer evenings, when conditions are just right, the forest floor can appear to twinkle like a starfield brought down to earth. Thousands of fireflies, each one glowing, each one searching, each one hoping. Fireflies are disappearing from many parts of the world, and this loss is quiet and sad. Their decline is caused by habitat loss, light pollution, and pesticides. Yet they remind us of something important. Bioluminescence evolved not for human entertainment, but for survival. For fireflies, their glow is everything. It is how they find mates. It is how they communicate in the darkness. Without their light, they cannot reproduce. Without their light, they cannot pass on their genes to the next generation. And so as you breathe slowly, imagine the quiet tragedy of a firefly that flashes and flashes, but whose light goes unseen because there are no other fireflies nearby. Imagine a forest where the summer night is silent and dark, where once there was a constellation of living light. This is why these small creatures matter. This is why their bioluminescence, though it seems insignificant to us, is absolutely essential to their world. Let us shift our attention now to another realm of bioluminescence, the fungi. In certain parts of the world, particularly in tropical forests, there exist mushrooms that glow with a soft greenish light. They are called ghost lights, or foxfire, and they have inspired folklore and legends for centuries. People who encountered them in the darkness of the forest believed they were seeing spirits, or fairies, or the souls of the dead. But the truth is equally beautiful. These are simply fungi, quietly glowing as they decompose dead wood. The light comes from the same chemical reaction we discussed earlier, luciferin and luciferase, creating photons in the darkness. Scientists are still debating why fungi evolved this ability. Perhaps the light attracts insects that help spread their spores. Perhaps it's a byproduct of their metabolism. But whatever the reason, there is something deeply peaceful about the image of a glowing mushroom in the darkness, converting death into light, transforming decay into beauty. In the oceans, one of the most abundant sources of bioluminescence comes from tiny creatures called dinoflagellates. These are single-celled organisms, so small that millions could fit in a drop of water. Yet each one is capable of producing light. When disturbed by a fish, by a wave, by a swimmer, dinoflagellates flash with a brilliant blue light. Imagine swimming in the ocean on a warm night, moving through the water, and watching each movement of your hand create a trail of blue sparkles. This is not imagination. This is a real phenomenon that occurs in certain parts of the world, particularly around warm tropical islands and coastlines. Some people call it sea sparkle. Others call it milky sea. And as you lie here, breathing gently, imagine the profound sense of wonder that must come from swimming through a living constellation, surrounded by millions of glowing organisms responding to your every movement. It is a dance between human and nature, conducted in light and water and darkness. The anglerfish is perhaps one of the most iconic bioluminescent creatures of the deep ocean. The female anglerfish dangles a bioluminescent lure before her mouth, using it to attract prey in the absolute darkness of the deep sea. This lure is not merely a light. It is a specialized organ called a photophore, containing billions of bioluminescent bacteria. The anglerfish does not produce the light itself. Instead, it has formed a symbiotic relationship with bacteria that do. The bacteria live inside the photophore, producing light, and in return, they receive nutrients and a safe home. It is a partnership written in evolution, a cooperation that has allowed both species to thrive in one of Earth's most extreme environments. And as you sink deeper into sleep, consider this. The anglerfish is not hunting with its own light. It is hunting with the light of another creature entirely. It is using symbiosis as a tool for survival. It is a reminder that in nature, the greatest achievements often come not from competition, but from cooperation. Speaking of bacteria, let us explore this relationship more deeply. Bioluminescent bacteria are found throughout the oceans, and many fish and squid have evolved specialized organs to house them. These bacteria are usually from the genus Vibrio, or Photobacterium, and they are perfectly adapted to life inside their host's photophore. The bacteria produce light through the same luciferin-luciferase reaction we discussed earlier. But here's what makes this truly remarkable. The bacteria only produce light when they reach a certain population density. This is called quorum sensing, and it means the bacteria can sense when there are enough of them to make a difference. They coordinate their light production. They communicate with each other chemically, and only when they agree that their numbers are sufficient do they all begin to glow together. It is a form of collective consciousness in bacteria, a democracy of light. As you breathe slowly and deeply, imagine millions of bacteria, each one sensing the presence of its neighbors, each one waiting for the signal to glow together in perfect synchronization. The hatchetfish is a small, delicate creature of the deep ocean that uses bioluminescence in a particularly clever way. Its belly is covered with photophores that produce a soft, downward-pointing light. This light serves a remarkable purpose. It camouflage. You see, even in the deep ocean, there is a faint amount of light filtering down from the surface, enough that a creature silhouetted against the darkness above would be visible to predators looking up from below. But the hatchetfish has solved this problem by producing light on its belly that matches the dim light from above. It creates a false horizon. It erases its own shadow. To a predator looking upward, the hatchetfish becomes invisible, just another faint glow in the distant light. This is called counterillumination, and it is one of nature's most elegant solutions to the problem of survival in darkness. The hatchetfish doesn't use bioluminescence to attack or to attract. It uses it to hide, to disappear, to become one with the light itself. Jellyfish are among the most beautiful bioluminescent creatures, and they have been glowing in Earth's oceans for over 500 million years. The most famous bioluminescent jellyfish is probably the Aquaria victoria, a small jellyfish from the Pacific Ocean that produces a bright blue-green light. In fact, scientists discovered that this jellyfish produces a protein called green fluorescent protein, or GFP. This protein absorbs the blue light produced by the jellyfish's luciferin and re-emits it as green light. This discovery was so important that it won a Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 2008. GFP has become one of the most important tools in modern biology, allowing scientists to tag and track proteins inside living cells. And so a small jellyfish, quietly glowing in the darkness of the ocean, inadvertently gave humanity a gift that would transform our understanding of life itself. Nature's light became science's tool. Beauty became knowledge. The vampire squid is another remarkable creature of the deep, and its name comes from its dark coloring and the webbing between its arms that resembles a cape. But what makes the vampire squid truly extraordinary is its use of bioluminescence as a defense mechanism. When threatened, the vampire squid can produce a cloud of bioluminescent mucus, a glowing cloud of particles that confuses and disorients its predators. Imagine being a predator in the deep ocean, hunting in near-total darkness, when suddenly you encounter a burst of blinding blue light. Your eyes, adapted to the darkness, would be temporarily blinded. The vampire squid uses this moment of confusion to escape. It creates a smokescreen of light, a dazzling display that buys it precious seconds to flee into the darkness. And as you lie here, breathing slowly and peacefully, consider how different this is from our usual understanding of light as something that reveals. For the vampire squid, light is concealment, light is escape, light is survival. Let us now consider the purpose and function of bioluminescence across all creatures. Scientists have identified several primary reasons why organisms evolved to produce light. The first is communication, fireflies signaling to each other, fish recognizing their own kind in the darkness, creatures sending messages in the night. The second is attraction, lures to draw prey, displays to attract mates, signals that say, "Come to me," in the darkness. The third is defense, flashes that startle, clouds that confuse, lights that blind. The fourth is camouflage, counterillumination that makes a creature invisible against the dim light from above. And the fifth, perhaps, is simply the byproduct of other biological processes. Light created not for a specific purpose, but simply because the chemistry of life sometimes produces it. As you sink deeper into relaxation, consider that each of these purposes serves a creature's survival. Each flash, each glow, each soft luminescence is an answer to the challenge of living in a world of darkness. The efficiency of bioluminescence is remarkable when compared to other sources of light. An incandescent light bulb converts only about 5% of the energy it uses into visible light. The rest becomes heat. But bioluminescence is nearly 100% efficient. Almost all of the energy released by the luciferin luciferase reaction becomes light. There is almost no wasted heat. This is why bioluminescence is sometimes called cold light. It glows without burning, it shines without heat. For creatures living in the cold depths of the ocean, this is a profound advantage. They can produce light to navigate, to hunt, to communicate, without expending the enormous amount of energy that would be needed to produce heat. And as you breathe slowly and deeply, imagine the elegance of this solution. Evolution has created a form of light that is not just beautiful, but perfectly efficient. Nature's light is better than our light. It is cooler, it is more efficient, and it has been perfected over millions of years. In recent years, scientists have discovered bioluminescence in some surprising places. For example, certain species of millipedes produce bioluminescent light. Some earthworms glow. Even some species of fungi produce light. And in 2008, scientists discovered that certain species of ostracods, tiny crustaceans, use bioluminescence to communicate in a particularly clever way. They produce bioluminescent displays that look like the silhouettes of larger, more dangerous creatures. It's a form of deception, a false predator created entirely from light. The ostracods use this display to frighten away competitors or to confuse predators. And as you sink deeper into sleep, consider how many creatures we have yet to discover that produce light. How many glowing organisms exist in caves we have never explored, in forests we have never visited, in oceans we have barely begun to understand. The world is full of light we cannot see, created by creatures we may never know. Now let us turn our attention to a remarkable fact. Bioluminescence is not distributed randomly throughout the animal kingdom. Certain groups of organisms have evolved bioluminescence multiple times, independently over millions of years. This is called convergent evolution, and it suggests that bioluminescence is a particularly successful solution to certain survival challenges. Fish have evolved bioluminescence. Jellyfish have evolved bioluminescence. Squid have evolved bioluminescence. Crustaceans have evolved bioluminescence. Bacteria have evolved bioluminescence. Fungi have evolved bioluminescence. Insects have evolved bioluminescence. The fact that so many different groups, separated by vast evolutionary distances, have all independently discovered the ability to produce light suggests something profound. That bioluminescence is not a rare accident, but a natural solution that life gravitates toward when faced with the challenge of darkness. And as you lie here, breathing peacefully, consider that this convergence speaks to the creativity of evolution, to the way life finds similar answers to similar problems, again and again, across the tree of life. The color of bioluminescent light varies widely among different organisms, and this variation is not accidental. It reflects the visual capabilities of the creatures that produce the light and those that see it. Most deep-sea creatures produce blue or blue-green light, because these colors travel furthest through water and are most visible in the ocean depths. Some creatures produce red light, which is invisible to most deep-sea creatures, but visible to the creature that produces it, giving it a private communication channel that others cannot see. Some produce yellow or green light. The color of bioluminescence is a conversation between the creature that produces it and the environment in which it lives. The ocean has shaped the color of the light, and the light has shaped the creatures that see it. And as you sink deeper into relaxation, imagine the subtle sophistication of this relationship. Every glowing creature is perfectly tuned to its environment. Every color of light is a choice made by millions of years of evolution. Humans have long been fascinated by bioluminescence, and in recent decades, we have begun to harness it for our own purposes. Scientists have used GFP and other fluorescent proteins to create glowing animals in laboratories. There are glowing mice, glowing fish, glowing rabbits. These creatures are not created for any practical purpose. They are created to help us understand genetics, to help us see how genes are expressed in living tissues. And while some people find this troubling, others see it as a beautiful collaboration between human science and nature's light. We have also used bioluminescence in medical imaging, to light up diseases inside the human body, to help doctors see what cannot normally be seen. We have used it in environmental monitoring, to detect pollutants in water. We have even created artificial bioluminescence, synthetic versions of luciferin and luciferase, to use in research and diagnostics. And as you breathe slowly and peacefully, consider that humanity's fascination with bioluminescence is not new. It is ancient. It is written into our mythology, our folklore, our deepest stories about light and darkness. But there is a shadow side to our fascination with bioluminescence, and it is important to acknowledge it. Light pollution, the excess artificial light that humans produce, is interfering with the natural bioluminescence of creatures around the world. Fireflies are declining, partly because artificial light from cities and highways is confusing their mating signals. Sea turtles, which navigate by the light of the moon and stars, are becoming disoriented by artificial lights on beaches. Migratory birds are colliding with illuminated buildings. And in the ocean, artificial light is disrupting the delicate balance of creatures that have evolved in darkness for millions of years. The light we produce, meant to illuminate our world, is extinguishing the light that nature produces. And as you lie here, breathing slowly and deeply, consider this. Every time we turn on a light, we are speaking in a language that drowns out nature's voice. We are creating a kind of acoustic pollution, but with light instead of sound. It is something we rarely think about, but it is real, and it is significant. As we approach the end of our journey through the world of bioluminescence, let us reflect on what we have learned. We have discovered that light is not the exclusive domain of stars and fire. We have learned that life itself can create light, cool, efficient, beautiful light. We have seen how creatures use this light to survive, to communicate, to love, to hunt, to hide, to defend themselves. We have learned that bioluminescence has evolved independently in dozens of different organisms, suggesting that it is a fundamental solution to the challenge of living in darkness. We have seen how human science has learned from nature's light, using it to understand genetics, to detect disease, to explore the mysteries of life itself. And we have acknowledged that our own lights, our artificial illumination, is beginning to interfere with nature's ancient conversation with darkness. And as you sink deeper and deeper into sleep, consider that bioluminescence is ultimately a story about adaptation, about creativity, about the way life responds to challenge. It is a story written in light, in darkness, and in the space between them. And now, as you rest here in the darkness, let us leave you with a final thought. Somewhere in the world right now, a firefly is flashing its light into the summer night, hoping to find a mate. Somewhere in the ocean, a dinoflagellate is glowing in response to the movement of a fish. Somewhere in a deep cave, a fungus is quietly shining, converting death into beauty. Somewhere in the deepest, darkest parts of the sea, an anglerfish is dangling its bioluminescent lure, and bacteria inside its photophore are producing light through chemistry as old as life itself. These creatures are not thinking about their light. They are not aware of their own beauty. They are simply living, simply surviving, simply being what millions of years of evolution has made them. And in that simplicity, there is a profound lesson for us. Life glows, life shines. Life creates light in darkness, not through effort or intention, but simply by being alive. So as you drift off to sleep now, imagine yourself surrounded by that light. Imagine yourself in a world where darkness is not frightening, but beautiful, where light is not harsh, but gentle, where every living thing contributes its own small radiance to the world. Close your eyes, breathe slowly, and let the thought of nature's light guide you gently into sleep. Thank you for joining us on the Sleepy Science channel. We will see you again soon.